straight from the Slash Fitness arena itself, Joe Ardagna, Delray Beach. Welcome, Joe. What's up, buddy?
Woo! What's up, guys?
How we doing? So my first question.
Good.
First question. You've been talking to people one-on-one, doing your separate, not Slash, but separate private training. What is the craziest story or thing that somebody has shared with you during a personal training session?
God. Well, first one that comes to mind is I had a gentleman that I was training for some time. Came in, he was all, kind of upset. Something was going on with him. I'm like, dude, what's up with you? He goes, my best friend just called me, and this guy's in his mid-50s. He goes, and we've been best friends our whole life. He goes, my best friend just called me and admitted to me that he's got a wife and 3 kids in California. But he also has a wife and 3 kids right here.
Oh my gosh.
So, and he's like, I'm just beside myself. He goes, I've known this guy my entire life. We talk all the time. And I've just been assuming, I know he travels a lot for work, but meanwhile, he's traveling to go see his other family. And I was like, oh God. I mean, that's I guess slap in the face, but for everybody. Yeah. But yes, that is the crazy one that pops to mind. I'm sure I got a laundry list of crazy ones.
That's a good one to get started with.
But that's one to get started with. So throw your curveball with that one.
What's your next line there? Should we move on to abs? do we hit cardio again?
Yeah, how do you move forward from
yeah,
that?
right?
What did you say?
So I guess it wasn't your client, right? It was your client's friend. So I guess,
okay.
That would have been
different,
but
still. Imagine hearing your best friend your whole life, like someone that you're really close to, find out like they've been lying to you as well.
Right.
So it's like, God, what the hell?
Yeah.
I thought we were buddies.
And I'm sure that person
supposed to tell me this shit.
Yeah, that person's probably close to the family of the family that he knows, right? That is here or there.
So
life is a lie.
we're not doing burpees today, I take it.
This is going to be a therapy session.
Who knew? Yeah, like you do probably more therapy than like traditional therapist, right?
Yeah, honestly, I had this. I mean, we know, and even on my side too, my clients know a hell of a lot about me, and especially because they've been with me. If you think about it, most clients, they come in, let's say on average 3 times a week. You end up being with your clients longer than most of your best friends, sometimes even your family. You see them so much week after week after week after week. We know everything about each other. So they just pour into everything and everything. It's just like, a lot of people do with their hairdressers or whatever. It's the same thing. We just get a real personal connection and we know everything about each other. I had this one couple one time that unfortunate situation, but I had to put a stop to it. He was cheating on his wife. But the hard part here with me is that his wife would come in after him. I would train them back to back. She would cry to me about how things aren't working out at home, but he would tell me all these things he was doing with somebody else. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, dude, you can't tell me this stuff anymore. So you guys figure out what's going on with your relationship. I need to let's be out of this. Let's just make it about working out and that's it. We want to joke about all that stuff, but please, things are, I just got to draw the line. It's just why would you think you can tell me that? I'm training, I'm not going to say anything. It's not my place to say anything, but God, I feel awful. You're putting me in a horrible position.
That is a tough spot.
It speaks to their comfort level and their trust in you that they can confide in you and share. But yes, I guess you have to have some boundaries somewhere and set the limit on what's okay and what's not. And that would be hard. Yeah.
Yeah. And, and a lot of them, what ends up happening is like I said, personal connection becomes so great between us that, something goes wrong in my life, something goes wrong in there. We're kind of the first people that kind of contact each other as far as someone to lean on, because we established that relationship so deep and we just get so close over the years. Like I said, I think I say 15 years, some of them have been with me, but most of them it's closer to 20 years that have been with me, really since I moved here. So, I've seen the ups and downs of everybody's lives, and they've seen that with me.
Yeah,
it's good for everybody. It's good therapy sessions for me as well, you know.
So when did you know that you needed to start your own gym?
Ever since I was a little boy, just playing out. No, I'm just kidding.
I used to set my trucks up in like a parking lot, and I'd have them walk into this little gym. And then
That would be awesome.
Ken was so ripped that I was like, I need to be like Ken.
It was when I moved to, I moved down. Brian and I kind of moved down around the same time. I came down, he came down shortly after, but my intentions was knowing what industry I wanted to get into, which was the personal training fitness area. But I did know ahead of time what my intentions were to eventually have my own thing. I don't know how I was going to do it, who I was going to do it with, how the hell that was going to happen, but I just knew I had to start somewhere. And where Brian and I come from, it's not typically, and Kitty too, being up north or anything like that, it's just once winter hits, people don't typically work out as much. People tend to hibernate a little bit more. So I felt in order to be super successful with industry, you had to be in that warmer climate where people just are constantly taking care of themselves. Not to say people don't do that everywhere else, but as far as the population goes, I needed everybody. I wanted to be around everybody that did that. So came down here and just when that was that was like it was in 2004 and networked, grew my clientele extremely large, big book of client. Like I said, they've been with me ever since. And then throughout that process, just learning from different mentors, people that have done all this before me, definitely my clients and people that have been extremely successful and learning from them, just kind of figuring out how to do it and how to get funding, get the backing from certain people, grow the team. I've learned all that, picked the people's brains for years before I eventually felt comfortable to do it on my own. So I've been thankful to have a great network of clients that really wanted to see me succeed and help me grow and give me the proper advice to do so.
And then you started at a gym you were working at and started getting clients and meeting people that way and started networking. What was it about working for somebody else that you were like, this isn't for me, this is only short term? And what made you leave and take that risk, take that chance to create your own thing?
I hate listening to people.
Like right now.
No.
This is torture for you.
God, shut up. No, essentially, the nicest way possible, I just wanted to have my own place with my own rules, my own vision, really, because when I was working for different studios, I did have a vision of where fitness and just always, studying the trends in fitness, which changes every day. I knew it was going in a certain way, and the places I was working at weren't on board with that. And I did have discussions with certain gyms and facilities I was part of, and they just didn't share that same belief on where the industry was going. And sure enough, I suppose I was kind of right, because I'm still going, I'm still adapting to the industry, because like I said, it does change every day, still growing, but the vision's still primarily the same. Those studios that I did work for are not here anymore because they weren't willing to change with the times, because you just have to. Fitness industry grows and grows and grows, and people are constantly looking for something different. And if you're not catering to that, you're going to be in a slow death. So that's when I really realized that I just want to do my own. I had a firm, strong belief on where it was going and what it needed to be.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you started off with two partners, right? And now you're fully on your own. Is that right?
Yeah, as of 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So there was three of us originally working in a facility together, and luckily the three of us did have that same vision of where the industry was going, what gyms needed to look like and act like and all that stuff. And so that's how we, came with our business plan and all our ideas, put things together and started Slash. And we did that over 12 years ago. And then over time, things just change, and it's never had anything to do with whether we liked or disliked each other or anything like that, but people just grow and I would say the reason for changing partnerships over those 12 years had nothing to do with disagreeing on anything. It really has to come down to outside influences and how we grow outside the business. I got married first, I got kids first, and what I now felt was important isn't exactly what they felt important. And this one liked to do this on the outside, and this one this, and me this, and there's outside influences that are going to change change that partnership or change your vision that you never thought would arise. So as close as you might be and as good as your partnership might be, those outside influences will eventually kind of take control of where the business is going to grow to. So that's really how we ended up here today. And we're just me because of those outside influences. So, those guys, whenever we split, the first one we split with and the one recently, it was always good, nothing bad.
I recommend starting something with other people to kind of bounce ideas off with and take on some of the risk and have kind of that support system. Do you think that helped you in growing Slash to where it is today?
I wouldn't have done this without them. There's no way I could have done it. Especially, let's bring it back to outside influences. When I first started getting my family together first and doing that and having children and all that stuff, to know that there was the other two guys to help out with that when I couldn't be here. But also, like you said, we all had our separate strengths too. Like the vision was the same, but we all had certain things we were stronger within the business. And all three of us helped elevate the business in one way or another differently. So yes, we always hear partnerships don't work, and typically they don't, but we were an outlier and we definitely did it, and we did it well. And as I said, whether we wanted it to or not, it eventually was going to split a little bit just because of how we were just growing as individuals. But I definitely wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for what the three of us did together, because that was something great, something special. And I don't regret anything, even though we're all not together anymore. Definitely don't regret that, because again, it's why I'm here. And so I'm thankful for every step that we took to get here.
Each pushed each other too and supported each other, but you also had your own networks. You're 3Xing your networks and people and influences and potential people to help support in the marketing. Right when you were first early on, you were the Three Monkeys, and everybody in Delray Beach knew about the monkeys. You had your costumes, you had the golf cart, you were driving around. Everybody knew it, and so just the marketing and I think the young, fresh energy and the vibe you guys had was just like cool, right? Like you guys were cool. I want to be a part of that, and I think everybody was just drawn to kind of what you were doing. So I think that was pretty cool.
That was definitely it was the excitement that the three of us brought together, the energy, but we were also very young. I was 30 at the time. The guys were in their 20s. And that's who we were, right? Just in general. We just liked to go out and be the life of the party and do all that. And that's what the three of us were. And the business turned into that. And it was a party here. And as we grew and got older, me being the oldest, the maturity level kind of changes a little bit and you grow out of all that stuff. So now the business is changing a little bit, because the business shouldn't be a party scene, because that's not me. And not to mention, you can't build a proper business off of, at least in my industry, off of the younger clientele of Delray, the going out type of crowd. That's not sustainable. It was good for then, but now we got to look into what's sustainable membership wise, who has the money to be here, who is willing to sacrifice going out for their health and things like that. And that's typically not on our mindset when we're in our 20s. Right. So we had to shift out of that. So my point is, as we mature, the business has to mature as well if you want it to succeed. That's one of the biggest lessons I've learned with this.
Yeah, and it sounds like it was all the right timing, right? And everything, they came in at the right timing, and you all had your reasons to be with each other and support each other. And like you said, they filled in the gaps when you might have been doing other things like having kids or, and so it was all, perfect timing. And right now, it seems like this is the right timing for you to be on your own. But you do have to have staff, right? How do you we know how hard it is to hire staff, maintain staff, keep them motivated.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
What?
Good people that, are committed. And you talk about your vision a lot. How do you have strategies or helpful tips for hiring or finding those people that do align with your vision and that don't make it a party scene and that are respectful of the business? And do you have any tips for us? Anything that you do?
You want to, I guess, far as, hiring process, especially nowadays, I believe it's harder than ever. It used to be back in the day when we first got this going, it was like, oh, well, you can walk and you can see, okay, you're hired. And that doesn't work so well. But, over time and where I am at today, it's really your interview process has to be dialed in to find that person who really fits your mold. And people do a great job of
faking that
bullshit.
Yeah, there's a bunch of fakers. They say what they think you want them to say.
And they're good at it. And once they get in the door, they're like, whoa, wait a second. That wasn't the person that interviewed. Like, who is this? So it's finding little tricks and procedures there, not just the questions that are going to make that you realize if they're the right fit. Spending time with you, invite them out for a coffee outside the setting, spending time with the other trainers, get them in here for classes, see how they just embed themselves within my culture and all that. Are they walking around like my other members do, meeting other people? Are they shaking hands? Are they smiling? When they're doing an exercise in my class as a participant, is their form on point? Do they look sloppy? Are they dress the part? Do they look like a trainer? Are they just coming in here like they just rolled out of bed? So there's more than just the interview questions that I think make you realize that they may be a good fit. And then of course after that, not just hiring them right away, it's getting them on a trial basis and letting them know ahead of time. Hey, this is where we're at. We want to make sure you're a good fit, as we want to make sure we're a good fit for you. So we take the first 2 weeks and we're just going to kind of test each other out, get you some training, let you know what we're about. And after the 2 weeks, we'll figure it out from there exactly where this is going to go and where we want to place you. And that's it. So I think just like everything else evolves in your business, your interview process has to really evolve big time. You got to start it from day one.
Yeah, I love that.
As far as that, once they get in, and it all trickles down from the top. One, being a great leader. One, taking care of yourself. I did go through a funk years ago where I was tired all the time. Couldn't figure out. Little backstory: I got diagnosed with narcolepsy. So I may fall asleep in the next 5 minutes. I'm just kidding. No, we fixed that. But I couldn't figure out why I was so tired. And I was such a jerk to my staff and my members. Just people I could hear kind of talking. Why does Joe look like he's pissed off? But I wasn't. I'm not mad about anything. I just looked that way because I'm friggin' exhausted. I couldn't figure out why, no matter how much sleep I got. But like I said, starting from the top down, if I'm not good for myself, I'm not going to be good for my team. I'm not going to be good for my members. And that definitely showed for a little while. So once I figured that out and started taking care of myself, I felt good. And now I could properly lead my team. And it really just came down to leading people the way that I'd like to be led, and knowing that not two employees are the same. You really got to figure out what moves each individual. Some people are motivated by money. Some people are motivated by, I got a great staff now. They're really motivated by growth. They want to see that the business is growing and that I'm happy about it, that my management team's happy about it. And that really jazzes them and get them all excited about what's going on here day to day. So I think, again, leading how you want to be led is, I think, key. And then it'll all kind of trickle down from there. Members are happy. You're happy. Money's coming in. It all works out.
Great.
Good stuff there. Good advice. Appreciate that. Your COVID was kind of a big deal for a lot of us, but a lot of the gyms as well. A lot of them suffered memberships. A lot of them went out of business. Was that your biggest struggle? And if not, what's been your biggest struggle with Slash over 12 years, or biggest obstacle, and how have you overcame that?
Well, if we want to relate it, if we want to bring it back to COVID real quick, there's a good lesson that came out of this for me. But yes, we all got beat down. I know I'm not unique in this situation. A lot of people, I'm thankful to still be here as far as the business goes. I have a large network of over 100 gym owners, a mastermind team I'm part of, and I did see a good half of them lose their businesses during that time. But the scary part is, over the past few years, once we got out of that, is, let's say I was open for about 8 years at that point. Took us 8 years to build up a membership to X. Let's just call it, for easy numbers, let's call it 100 people. Took me 8 years to build up to 100 people. All of a sudden, we get knocked down to nothing. Let's call it 10 people. 10 people right there. It took 8 years, though, to get to that 100 people. So now we're back open, business is going, but I got those 10 people. Is it going to take me another 8 years to get to that 100? That was the shocking part. So for the next couple years, I wasn't making anything. I wasn't doing anything. Like, what am I going to do? I kept trying to like go back to the grassroots of things and do things how we used to and that. And like I said, things change. How am I going to do this? Like, we weren't the same exciting dudes that we used to be running around town, and we don't know anybody anymore. So I don't have the means to do that. So it's really just trying to really bit the bullet and try to take a step back and hire for what I don't know. And that was with me grabbing a manager. So I took a buddy that connected with a buddy that I've had from years ago. We used to work together years ago. He owned a number of different franchise within that industry. And we always kind of wanted to work together, and he just moved back to the area. So all things coming to align, and he decided to come on board here. And currently now he's helping me grow and bring back the vision. And luckily, since last year, we're up 40% in our numbers from last year alone. So, and I'm back to pre-COVID numbers and then some. So
awesome.
Realizing that I wasn't going to be able to do this alone. And that doesn't mean bringing on a partner or anything like that, but it's just taking a step back, swallowing my pride, and hiring for the area I really just didn't know anything about. And that was producing, for me, it was producing sales and how I'm going to find those leads and how we're going to nail down those leads and eventually close them. Before, it just came to us. Like we said, we were so exciting and people just wanted to be part of that. We never had to sell a thing. People just walked in the door constantly. Like, we didn't know a thing about gym sales, but now we're forced to. So our back was against the wall, or my back was against the wall, and had to figure out that solution. So I think all that was just a great lesson for me, and just to kind of swallow my pride and realize that sometimes you just can't do these things alone, and getting some solid advice or properly hiring for someone to do that for you. I thought that was a great thing.
Let's listen to this podcast, and this guy shared this similar story where he had 5 restaurants, was very successful, sold them all, and then went on this joint venture with this guy who then took all his money, filed bankruptcy, and left the country. So he lost everything, and he worked for these restaurants for 10, 12 years, right? And he's like, how am I going to do this? I just spent 12 years of my life. But the thing he shares is that the experience that you gained building those restaurants, right, building those pre-COVID numbers at the gym, that experience is invaluable. That, and so you're always going to have that with you, no matter if you lost Slash today, you could open another gym and it would probably be successful. It wouldn't take 12 years, but it would take some time, of course. But you have all that knowledge and experience that you'll have with you forever. So that I think
you're,
is pretty cool.
Yeah, you're not starting out from nothing. You're starting now with experience. There's a quote about that.
Yeah, and I think coming out of that, keeping the mentality that I think is a great lesson for people is to always run your business like someone or something is going to take it from you, because that can happen again tomorrow in one form, shape, or another. Not talking about pandemics, but someone just could walk in here and take this from me somehow, some way that I don't know. So always run it like someone or something is going to take this from you.
Yeah.
They could open next door, and they could have a new trendy fad thing, and people get locked into that, and they could, charge half the price.
They
did. That's happened, I'm sure.
Well,
we did have an Orange Theory open up across the street.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not there anymore?
So that was a little. It's there. It's there. Obviously, you're talking about a big dog in the industry right there, worldwide, and us being these little guys in Delray. When it was going to open up across the street, I got a little scared, a little nervous. I didn't want to say anything, but then, you just have members kind of coming up to me and talking to me. They're like, you got nothing to worry about. You guys are unique in your own way. You're different. You know how to connect it with, individuals and your members and this and that. And sure enough, I honestly don't think we lost anybody to Orange Theory. In fact, it's gotten us more members. It's got us a couple of great trainers. So what scared the hell out of me at one point only benefited me.
Yeah.
And it continues to do so. I still get people trickling through the door because people have to walk by our door to get to theirs.
Yeah.
But that's the great thing about us. Like I said, we're always evolving. Where something with a major franchise doesn't exactly have the means to do that constantly. But we've established ourselves as the local spot, still the fun spot, and this is where you're going to be to meet other locals and be part of what Delray is.
Yeah, and I think with you running it, having that mindset of running your business it could be taken at any point, that's probably different than the mindset of the person who's running the Orange Theory. That's probably just, it's corporate trickle down kind of But yeah, I think that's a good motto for life as well. Just touching on that, running your life like it could be taken from you tomorrow or today or in the next minute, because it can, right? And if you live in that way and you're really putting your heart and soul into everything you do, I think that you're gonna reap the rewards from that.
For sure. Yep. Yeah. Nailed it.
Where's the fitness industry at today? What's the new fad? Where's Slash going?
One, people are more concerned about being healthy, but two, are looking for more on the recovery end. What they can do to not only just look great, but also feel great for longevity. And that's bringing in things, whether it's flexibility training, red light therapy, IV therapy. We are now currently part of the whole ice plunge trend. So we do that now. It's embedded in our membership. So as a member here, we have a ice machine leased out, and people can come in. We teach them how to plunge, how to properly fill out the ice buckets out back. We have a nice big turf area, a little zen area that we built, and people cold plunge.
Love it.
That's awesome.
And the benefits of cold plunge, if you guys don't know, as far as mental benefits, obviously physical benefits. We've been icing body parts for years. Those of that have been in sports or just fall down off of bikes, whatever. Ice decreases inflammation in the body, inside and out. And then beyond that, sleep benefits, stress benefits, all that. It's definitely a lifesaver. I plunge every other day.
I've never felt better. It's like, I think I saw something. It's like if you take crack, you feel good for 6 minutes. But like if you ice plunge, it's like 12 hours of the same release of the dopamine.
Oh.
Same dopamine,
crazy.
yes.
It's the longevity of the high of the ice plunge. It's insane. It's incredible. It's amazing.
Ditch the crack and plunge.
Stop, quit, crack. Plunge. That's a t-shirt.
It's a good t-shirt.
Let's do it.
I'm going to do that.
10 times the extra crack high with ice plunge.
with Slash Fitness.
Yeah, that's your new marketing t-shirt.
On it. Love that.
Like the ice. Crack is kind of like ice, right? There's something there too. But anyway, I digress.
Good one. Good one.
Something you could do with that. Yeah.
And I think that, we've done a good job with embedding variety within what Slash is in our group training thing, but continuing to add more variety so people never have to really leave here. So we've now incorporated an open gym. So those of you that don't know, we're primarily a group training concept. People come in here every hour on the hour. We train 24 people at a time. So, and it's a hybrid between traditional dumbbell training, which is, your chest presses and your curls and all that and stuff. And then turf training, which is more your body weight specific training, creating movement to elevate the heart rate. So we eliminated machines because we feel that when machines come into play, that's when people start to get hurt, and just stick with the dumbbells and body weight movement. So anyways, that's our primary concept, but now putting other things in as far as people just open gym, coming to work out on your own. Outdoor classes. We have a big outdoor section that we built during COVID, and we have classes that go on out there too. The plunge tanks, open gym out in the turf area as well. But now we're kind of looking things more on that recovery end, whether it's more of the athletic yoga, stretching, things like that. We're putting those in there right now and interviewing some people to do that. So once again, if anyone, which is natural if someone eventually wants some sort of change or try some other new concept, and we all do that, I want them to know that if they left, they're going to see that they're not going to get these other things elsewhere. They're going to get a kick-ass workout here. They're going to, they're making a family here, but they're also getting every little component to their fitness needs here. So that's where really the mindset is. And a lot of these places are doing now is really being these one-stop shops.
I love that.
But in that boutique setting, not those large, big box gyms, but still keeping it small and intimate because people want personal connection.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a different experience than when you go in the gym, you don't know anybody and it's huge and you just get there to work out, which is fine. I like that. But a majority of people, there is that social connection, that going with somebody, knowing somebody there, pushing yourself, motivating. If somebody else is going to be there and you're supposed to be there, you're gonna show up, right? So
it's a community.
For sure. It's definitely accountability.
Well, and that community and connection with the people is beneficial, right? And then the connection with your trainer, like you're saying, it's therapeutic on both sides. There's so much more to this smaller setting, boutique setting, I think, than...
Without a doubt. Yep. People want to be, no matter who we are, we always want to feel like we're part of something.
Yes.
And that's what they get here.
Yeah, and
Being part of something
Huge.
greater.
Yeah, that's what it's it.
yeah, and we all want to be seen or feel like we're seen and heard. And I think it sounds like when you're going into training sessions, you are doing that, not just training their body, but yeah, you're seeing them and hearing them, and they probably feel that with the community around them as well. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, I mean, my members are like employees too. I mean, they'll come up to me and be like, "Hey, I don't really like how we're doing this now," or I really think you should move this dumbbell over there and I think it'll look better. And so everybody really takes it as their home and treats it like their home, and they all feel comfortable coming to me for these things. And I do listen. And there's nothing better than when a member does make a suggestion, they come in, and because there's usually a handful of other members that probably feel the same way. But when they speak their mind and I react on it and actually listen and do it, they love that. Yeah. And I don't feel like I don't know everything. They see things differently than me and might have more expertise in a certain area than me. So I do listen. I'm never one to just be shut out from people and think I know everything. Yeah. It's always willing to keep an open ear and implement stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure that's so validating for them, right? And they feel seen and heard, right? And they want to come back because they know that you're going to listen and that it's more collaborative versus, the big box gyms and the... Yeah, that's awesome.
Model.
For sure.
Somebody thinking about opening their gym, what advice would you give to them?
I think do your research first. Everyone thinks that they can do this. Like I said, I got lucky and found a great group of guys, a group of individuals, and really built up my network beforehand. Just jumping in, I've seen a lot of people that just dove in because they love fitness or they love being a trainer, just dove in and I want to open a gym, and just not providing not realizing what it takes to actually make the gym, just because you know how to maybe write a workout, train some individuals, things like that, doesn't mean that you know how to create that community concept. And again, back to what we've been talking about right here. If you can't figure out how to establish a community, a team, a family within your setting, then it's going to drop down real quick. So I think that's number one, is having a game plan of how you're going to build that vibe and that community within your facility. Because a workout's a workout to the average person. Let's use my concept compared to Orange Theory across the street. Average individual, it's a workout. They sweat, they burn some calories, they leave here, they're tired, they leave there, they're tired. They look at a video on Instagram, they see a bunch of people in purple lights running around, or they see people in orange lights running around. To the average person, it's kind of the same thing. Well, that value they get when they walk through the door and it's like cheers and everybody knows your name, that right there, that's the game changer, and that's what's going to keep people on board. So having a plan how you're going to build that community is by far the number one, and that's what's going to keep you around for the longevity.
That makes sense. So,
yeah. Key advice.
Definitely. So you are running your gym, you're a husband, you're a father, and probably and a son, and all of these, a brother. And do you have any special routines or habits that keep you moving toward balance or in balance? Waking up early or doing your own workout before you get to the gym, or is there anything that you do to help yourself stay able to keep doing all these things?
It's getting back to the grassroots of everything we all ever learned since we were young kids, or just diving into, let's call it just, high school. And it's scheduling and prioritizing your time. We all get caught up in things. This person needs you to do this person needs you to do that, and whatever. But where you can only pour yourself into so many different buckets. So it's prioritizing those things first, and then leaving some extra room for the other things, because other things will always arise. So what's priority to you? Is it your health and your family? As soon as you wake up, well, let's cater to that and see how we're going to play those things out for the day first, and then tackle everything else after. I really struggled with this really up until this past couple years, and just felt like I could store everything up here. And I got to do this next and do this next and whatever. And I don't care who you are. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Too many things get crossed in, and you're never going to do that thing you labeled as priority. You're never going to do that to 110%. Never. Your workout's going to be half-assed. Whatever. Your playtime with the kids is going to be half-assed because you're thinking about something else. Am I saying this right?
Prioritize?
No, I can't say it.
Prioritize. It's been a long day already. I've been up since 4.
Oh, wow.
Prioritize your time properly
Yes.
and then move forward from there. So like I said, I think I would have been in a lot of trouble moving into this year if I didn't eventually capture that aspect of my life. So
Is that reading Nicholas Sparks?
It's working.
Nicholas Sparks books on the beach?
What's that?
Reading Nicholas Sparks books on the beach?
who's Nicholas Sparks?
He writes those romance novels, or so I've told. The girls like.
Oh, Daniel Steele?
But then they turn into movies. Didn't he write The Notebook?
Daniel, The Love Boat?
The Love Boat?
A notebook.
But moving back, when you get involved in something, let's call it your family, your business, whatever that might be within those steps of the day, when you're setting your priorities, it's being present. So if we're going back to some more advice right there, be 110% present. If you're focusing on your business right now, go 110%, go all in. You know, where can you go extra while you're in that? If you're hanging out with the family and that's your time with them, 110%. And I firmly believe that if you're constantly asking yourself, where can I go extra when you're in that moment, you're golden. And it's not only going to benefit you, but more so those around you. And that's really what I aim to do is heighten and elevate the ones surrounding me. And that's in turn only going to bring me up on another end. So staying present within that moment, but just asking yourself, where can you go extra within that moment?
I love that.
That's been very useful for me.
Yeah, I love that because I could think about that. Yeah, even just playing with the kids, like you mentioned, you know, and if I'm understanding what you're saying, right, you're in that moment, you're trying to be present and be with it. You're not checking your phone. You're not thinking about where can I go extra right now in this moment with my kids while I'm playing with them. Is that kind of what we're saying? But also in any other moment, or
100%. Drop the other portions of the to-do list. Focus on that one thing, because those are the ones and people and things that need you, but they need you at your best too. So again, I'm always big on go big or go home. Again, going extra, all that. You know, where can we do instead of just sitting down on the floor and playing dolls or whatever that might be? But let's take those dolls and go outside and put them in the carriage and go for a walk.
Yeah.
Let's take it a little extra. We all get beat down. We all get a little tired, and it's easy to kind of slack off on some of these things.
They'll know it too.
But
They'll call you out, or your kids will, or your job will, or
Yeah.
your health will if you're not really committed and you're distracted doing any of that. Right? Even your health, you're just half-assing. You're gonna get called out. So, I love it. Good.
gonna get called out. Your body's gonna call you out. You're gonna get sick. Your staff's gonna call you out. You know, they're not gonna work harder because you're not, because you're preoccupied with other things. 100%. Yes, you nailed it.
Definitely.
Yep.
I love that. I'm going to take that
You
into
gonna
the weekend.
Take it and run
How
with it.
can I
Yeah.
do a little extra?
Maybe we can all learn something today.
A middle-aged 40, almost on the wrong side of 40. What supplements should I be taking? What do I need? Should I get tested? I need some tea. That's all those hormone replacement therapy centers are popping up. Is that something you recommend or you've done? I've known a few people, and it's really helped them with their energy, their mind, their overall wellness. Where are you at with that?
I firmly believe in sticking to the things that our body produces anyways. I'm not into foreign substances. That's never been me. I've always been dedicated to doing things naturally. Back when I was younger and you got those friends doing steroids and things like that just to get bigger or whatever, it just is, as a young kid, obviously you're tempted to kind of dabble in that stuff. But I just had that, some reason, I don't even know how, but I had that mindset that it's got to be all me. Like, I don't want to feel like I cheated my system, or, you know, I want to get there on my own. But as I get older, I do know there's certain things that our body loses. Number one, for males, you know, being testosterone. Even for women, hormones change. You know, there's certain things that we all need to do or can do to help those imbalances. It doesn't matter who you are, at some point we get some sort of imbalance. So I am a firm believer in the testosterone treatments and supplements, whatever they might be, but properly monitored. What I found out is these centers everywhere. I don't know if they are around where you guys are, but there's a lot here. They end up being these kind of cookie cutter programs. So I could go into a place, actually, I did run into this at one point years ago. I walked into a place, and so did my father, at a different time. Test results came back and whatever, and what they prescribed for me was the same that they prescribed my father. And at the time, my father is like, I don't know, 63, 64. and I'm 40, something's a little off right here. So what happens is all these places become cookie cutter programs, and they just provide the same thing for everybody else. And that's impossible.
Yeah.
Anyway, so finding that doctor or individual that can properly, one, monitor you so you are taking in the right levels of whatever that might be, but two, properly prescribe where you're lacking. Because again, we all create deficiencies. As of right now, yes, I take a small amount of testosterone every 2 weeks because, again, my levels are super low, but I also take certain supplements that I'm deficient in. And that's it. So I do that. I have a great Japanese multivitamin. We all are deficient in vitamin D at some way. I do have a pure vitamin D supplement I take, and then a digestive enzyme to help absorb all those nutrients from the multivitamin and vitamin D supplement. So that's what works best for me, and that's because I do get the blood work consistently, and I see where I'm deficient. And when I don't do those things, I see those numbers drop down, and I see my performance just in here at work or wherever it might be, all those little things we've been talking about today, I see all those decrease. Because whether I like it or not, those levels are down low, and it disrupts my overall performance. So there is a need for stuff. Like I said, your body creates testosterone on its own, so I have no problem making up for it in some way or another, not using a foreign thing that my body is not used to, but replenishing it of the things that are lost. So with that said, and also as far as just supplements goes, there's a ton of junk out there these days, and everyone claims to get you bigger and get you healthier and get you leaner and all that stuff. Use your common sense. Those things that are overnight things, and you guys probably heard some of these things right now going on with people losing a lot of weight and all that. Like, use your common sense. People losing weight that quick, and there's no quick fix. That stuff's going to hurt some people very bad really soon. Yeah. And I've seen that already for people that have been close to me and people in my surrounding area that are getting hurt for quick fixes. So there's no need for that. So if you think something's too good to be true, then
usually
it is.
Yep. For sure.
Right. For sure.
You got anything else?
What you got? Hit me.
Last question. Gonna wrap up here. What's the highest number of push-ups you can do? Ever, I guess, ever. Or pull-up?
I haven't tested that out some time. And I remember I was about 21 years old in spring break and winning the push-up contest. A bunch of collegiate football players are there.
Your arms are a little shorter, so you don't really have to go as far. So I think it's a little advantage you have there.
And it's funny you say that because I was going to give away my secret, which is simply that I have these little short arms. So yes, so I'll use my advantage. It was in the. I want to say it was roughly 100, give or take a few, but it was around there. But I was also 20 years ago.
Why are pull-ups so hard to do? Nobody works on them.
Pulling up your whole body weight and back to your arm length thing too as well. If you and I weigh the same weight, if we're both 180 pounds, we're both trying to pull up 180. I'm going half the distance than you are, but that's a lot of weight to pull for anybody. So pulling is obviously a lot tougher than pushing. But
it's good to know. I feel a little better about that.
But there's always a way. I've seen people in their elder years, mid-age, that can never do a pull-up, and we've trained them to do that. So there's many secrets and tricks to the trade that we can eventually get somebody to do them. Definitely see it done, and people in their 60s.
Your favorite Tough Mudder or Tough Mudder obstacle? Because you do those with your mom. It's pretty awesome, and your family and all your friends. I always see you in pretty cool stuff. Do you hate Tough Mudders, actually? I haven't done one.
No. I like them. I like them a lot. They're fun. I usually do the Spartan races. I can tell you what I don't like. I like the whole thing. Yeah. I don't like being electrocuted. Something like that doesn't sit well with me.
Do they do that?
Is that part of things?
They electrocute you?
Yeah, I did one of these things years ago. And the first time I did, so there's Spartan races, there's Tough Mudder and all these other things. I'm in one of them. And coming down to, you got to crawl under these barbed wire. But over the barbed wire is these little dangly wires. And if they hit you, if they tap you, you get electrocuted, and your whole whatever that limb is goes numb.
No.
Dang.
I'm out.
And I'm like,
I'm out.
this can't be safe. First of all, your heart rate's up. You're running, you're doing all that, and you get electrocuted. So sure enough, we get to the finish line. And at the finish line, in order to get through the finish line, you got to run through a gauntlet of hanging wires.
Stop.
And there's no way to avoid them. So I sprint through them like, oh, what the hell? I'm going through. Two of them hit each leg at the same time. My legs go numb and I drop down on the ground. I stand up quick. One hits me on the shoulder and I flip back like that. And I'm like, the hell is happening? So we get through it. And I'm like, I got to watch this. I got to see like what's happening. Sure enough, person after person, every few people, you see someone get electrocuted and they pass right out.
Jeez.
Stand up. I saw this guy get electrocuted and passed out 3 times before he got to the finish line. Electrocuted, drop. Electrocuted, drop. But good for him. He got through the finish line.
That's
But
perseverance
just
right
gonna
there.
sit there and
That
watch
is the
people.
definition
Boom,
or
boom,
stupidity. I don't know.
Electrocuted. Boom. That would be very,
What?
very entertaining.
Did you know they were going to be electrocuting you when you signed up for this, or you just signed one of those waivers that you're like, I might die?
General, yeah.
you signed a waiver. I had no idea you're getting electrocuted. And
exit. I mean,
And while we're on the subject, there was one I did that went through, it's a tough mudder. So you go through mud, but the mud, the whole race was through these cow pastures out in northern Florida.
poop.
So what do you think was in that mud?
Shit.
Dude, people were
Turds.
going through it, throwing up.
Oh my!
You get through the race, you smell
It's
like cow
stuck
shit.
to you.
It's for like a week, it nails, you couldn't get it out. And we talk about it. That must have been 8 to 10 years ago. We still talk about it all the
Can't be
time.
healthy.
All of us that did it. So if you're going to do the races, stay away from the electrocution wires. Don't do it in a cow pasture.
Good tips. Good tips to live
Yeah.
by.
Ow, ow, ow.
Oh my
So write that one down.
All right, Joe. Well, this has been awesome. We appreciate
Yeah.
your time. Where can people find you, reach out, connect with you, social media, website?
Yeah, anybody's in Palm Beach area, Delray Beach, we've been rated best gym in Palm Beach the past 3 years in a row. So you can reach us at any time. You can look at /fitness on Instagram. You can find our website on www.fitpro.com. And my cell phone number, no, I'm just kidding. I won't do that. But our number here is 561-865-5716. Reach to us anytime. First class is free. We'd love for anybody to try it, just even if they're in the area and just want something fun to do. It's a blast. You won't be disappointed.
That's awesome. I wish they were in our area.
Well, coming
You
soon.
should, yeah.
Coming soon. We gotta.
Maybe.
We need to.
Part of the new growth we're doing.
Growth. Spreading.
Virginia.
Expanding his wings.
Yes.
New York, Virginia. DC.
Maybe Brian will be the newest /fitness
Ooh.
trainer /owner /Virginia Beach.
Strengthener.
But yeah, this was great, guys.
All right, Joe. Yeah, thanks for your time,
good to
brother.
see
Appreciate
ya.
it. Yeah, it's good to see you.
Appreciate you having me, guys. We'll chat soon.
Let's do it. All right, brother.
Bye.
All right, thank you. Have a good
Say hi to
weekend.
everybody.
I will, for sure.